On Ascension Day, you'll remember that I talked about how we were created neither completely separate and unable to relate, nor completely the same like water and water and equally unable to relate. We were set in this liminal existence, somewhere between heaven and hell, both connected and separate, in a state of partial freedom, and given the opportunity to find our way back to God, which is our salvation. Why would God do this to us, though? Do you ever ask yourself, why is this going on? What is the point of being partially separate and having to find our way to God? Why temporarily separate us not only from one another, but from God, only to bring us back to full presence with God in the end? Do these things keep you up at night? No? Oh. Okay. I can imagine only one purpose for this. If we started out as one with God, there could be no relationship, no love. There would be just God. Because we are partially separate, we have the freedom to love. This is, in other words, the ideal situation to foster love and relationship with God and with our neighbors, this partial separation. The 15th century mystic and spiritual director, Julian of Norwich, wrote about this when she discussed God's purpose in the visions that she had received. She had a series of visions, and she wondered, what is God's purpose in this? And she writes, "And from the time that the vision was shown, I desired often to know what our Lord's meaning was. And 15 years and more afterward, I was answered in my spiritual understanding thus: would you know your Lord's meaning in this thing? Know it well. Love was his meaning. Who showed it to you? Love. What did he show you? Love. Why did he show it? For love. Keep yourself therein, and you shall know and understand more in the same. But you shall never know nor understand any other thing forever." Thus I was taught that love was our Lord's meaning. And I saw quite clearly in this and in all that before God made us, he loved us, which love was never slaked nor ever shall be. And in this love he has done all his work. And in this love he has made all things profitable to us. And in this love our life is everlasting. In our creation we had a beginning, but the love wherein he made us was in him with no beginning. And all this shall be seen in God without end. So her answer was that love is the purpose of our existence. It is why we were created as we are, between connection and separation, neither completely one nor completely separate. And our salvation is dependent upon our living out of our unity rather than out of our separation. We have, however, the freedom to turn away from God to seek salvation elsewhere. And that is the nature of sin. And Julian sheds light on this as well. She was often kept up at night. When she wrote about her visions of heaven and hell, she said, "To me was shown no harder hell than sin." Turning away from our relationship with God and our neighbors and living out of a sense of separation is not only sin, therefore, it is hell. Judgment is not about who did what, as you can probably guess by this point. Like some accountant's list. You did this, you didn't do this. It's instead about how we relate, whether we focus on our connectedness or on our separation. And in the gospel today, that's why Christ prays for his disciples as he does. "The glory that you have given me, I have given them, so that they may be one as we are one. I and them, and you and me, that they may become completely one, so that the world may know that you have sent me and have loved them, even as you have loved me." Christ longs for his disciples to be able to act out of a sense of their unity, which is heaven. Having mentioned heaven and hell, I should address the fact that the Bible strongly suggests that something else is going on here in this existence, and that is that there is some sort of a winnowing. The sheep and the goats, the wheat and the tares. Some sort of purification is occurring, a separating out of the bad. The question is the bad permanently separated out? Or is it somehow removed temporarily for improvement? The theology that proposes that God works it out so that eventually everyone rejoins God and others is called universal salvation. And that is held by our friends, the Unitarian Universalists. That's what the universalist part means. And I suspect that many Episcopalians are also Universalists. I personally am agnostic on the issue. I really don't know. What is clear, however, is that whether or not there is universal salvation, this existence is an opportunity that we should not waste. Although we maximize our joy by living out of our unity, many nevertheless choose to live out of our separation. We all experience both of these aspects at all times, but each of us has a primary way of relating to the world. The way of unity has one path, the path to God, though each one of us differs according to our gifts, so we differ according to how we make our way along that path, but there's only one path, really. The way of separation, on the other hand, has a great variety of paths that seek salvation in all sorts of things other than God, as we prayed in the psalm today about worshiping other gods. Some, for example, think that salvation lies in getting as much as possible. If only I had a little more, I would be fulfilled. We think, and then we continue to think that no matter how much we have, and that's greed and gluttony, and it's a separation from God and others. And in Acts, we see today that what happens when Paul, the Gospels are often humorous, I hope you noticed that. Paul, who's finally had enough of being followed around by an annoyingly possessed slave girl, exorcises her. He's like, I've had enough of this. Be gone, demon, out of her. He waits about a day to do this. It's kind of interesting. Along with the demon, however, goes her spirit of divination. And that spirit of divination had brought her owners a lot of money. They don't care that she was, whether she was possessed or not, as long as they have no money. They don't care that she's not able to be fully herself because of the possession, fully able to live out her own gifts. They prefer that she remain as she was so that they can make more money off her. And you see what happens to them. They're put in jail. They're beaten. People take these things very seriously. With their eyes fixed on this existence here rather than on God, they can't imagine anything greater. And having made their choice to live out of a sense of separation, they have no sense of the joy of relating to others through our gifts. Others relate to the world primarily through the desire to control it, to make sure that it gives them all that they want, power. They want power, and they feel that it will make them safe. If I just have enough power, I can protect myself at all times. Power, of course, has two sides. It may be expressed through telling others what to do, but when we're not in a position to do that, and not all of us are, there's another kind of power, a passive power, that is expressed through denying our hearts to others, denying our others' affirmation, denying them open, honest communication. Sadly, many children are reared in this manner. Do as I say, or I will treat you as if you were nothing. People who choose power, whether active or passive, in its manifestation, live out of the hell of separation. Still others seek to protect themselves by feeling superior, better than. We spoke a lot about that in Lent, about feeling superior to others. Many understand themselves to be better than entire groups of people, better than immigrants, better than the transgendered, better than the poor, better than those with less analytical intelligence, better than those who do not live in cities, the rednecks who grow all our food. Why should I help these people out? They're inferior to me. Feeling superior to another is a way of avoiding looking at ourselves and derives from a sense of separation rather than unity. Some want to slip through life without really experiencing it. Another way of protecting ourselves. They want to escape. Either they pretend the world is as it is not, clinging to ideologies that justify their way of life, such as rational egoism or social Darwinism, or something that justifies a way of just pretending that that's true. Or they seek chemicals that will allow them to escape reality, at least for a time. This is an attempt to have it both ways, to live out of separation in order to avoid risking intimacy, while being numb to its effects. It's an attempt to enter hell while wearing a fireproof suit. But the suit quickly wears thin. There are many other projects, of course, and other ways of living out of separation rather than unity, and we don't need to catalog them all. What's important is that we always be asking ourselves, why am I doing what I'm doing? Is it out of love? Or is it out of fear? Out of unity? Or out of a sense of separation? We exist here between heaven and hell, between unity and separation, between God and the many paths of sin. It's an opportunity to embrace heaven or hell. And God has placed us in the between existence so that we have that freedom and the freedom to love. Amen.